Claude and Nano have just changed how I make social media content. 2 AI tools, no Canva, no designer, and the results are insane. These posts get thousands of likes time and time again, and they take minutes, not hours to make. Now, I've spent over 10 years in content marketing and built multiple social media brands. And now I'm using AI every single day to build systems that actually work. In this video today, I'm going to show you exactly how I use Claude and Nano to turn my own content into social media posts that look like nothing else out there. This is episode 1 of a full series where I build the ultimate AI social media system. Before I break anything down, let me show you exactly what we're making today. This was all made entirely with Claude and Nano. My content, my brand, custom visuals. And I'm going to show you every step. But first, we need to understand Claude. Before I show you anything, I need you to understand Claude, because this isn't just another AI tool. Let's break it down. So Claude Chat is what most people know, but it does way more than you think. It creates actual files, HTML pages. It connects to Google Drive. It connects to your tools, and you can build something called skills. A skill is a set of instructions Claude remembers every time. Next, we have Claude Cowork, and this is for people who are not developers. It connects to your desktop. It browses your files. It opens apps. And 3 days ago, Claude got the ability to control your actual computer. Next, we have Claude Code, and this is the developer tool. It runs in your terminal. It builds full applications. It automates entire workflows. Claude Code just passed $2.5 billion in annual revenue, and they've just shipped 4 major updates in the last 3 weeks. This is the fastest moving AI tool on the planet right now, and most people are using it to write emails or create some fake websites. But why does this matter for social media? Well, the first thing is you need to understand is Claude is not an image generator. So it isn't designed just to create pretty pictures. Claude understands context. When I tell Claude to build a carousel from my YouTube script, it doesn't just copy the text onto slides. And this is where things get really, really good. It reads the whole script. It pulls out the strongest ideas. It reconstructs them for carousel format. It knows slide 1 needs to stop the scroll. It knows that the middle slide needs to build tension and that the final slide needs to have that CTA. Image generators see pixel. Claude sees purpose. And this is what makes it different. Today, I'm going to be using Claude Chat to build carousels. In future episodes, I can show you Claude Code automating the whole pipeline and Cowork managing your content from your phone. But right now, let's start with the foundation. Okay, so why am I using this for carousels? Because carousels right now are the highest engagement format on Instagram, with engagement up over 30%. And these carousels get multiple chances to earn engagement, 3 times more impressions than a normal post. And if you add music to your carousel, it gets pushed to the Reel feed. So Reels find people, carousels convert them. Carousels are a critical part of your social media process and a no-brainer. Let's jump into the full flow. And I'm going to show you 3 different levels so that you can fully build a system or understanding on how Claude builds its carousels, why to use different tools like Nano, etc. This is going to probably blow your mind, so pay attention. Now, a lot of the carousels and stuff on Instagram or on social media is very similar, very same templates, from Canva, same stock images, no real brand systems, very scrollable, forgettable, lost in the feed. Okay, so the first thing for level 1, to get this party started, we're going to head over to Claude. Now, I've put this first kind of disclaimer, which basically tells it not to remember any of my old memory, etc., just for the purpose of this video. For this, we're going to do a kind of prompt like this, turn this into a 7-slide Instagram carousel. So the prompt would be something like this. Now, basically, I'm not creating a random carousel, okay? I'm going to do it based on one of my YouTube video scripts, but you might have a motivational page. You could literally get a motivational story from Google, from anywhere. Okay, if you're in the tech world, you could grab an article and put it in this prompt and it will create a carousel for you. So you can literally get information from anywhere. So here I've got my script. I'm just going to literally grab it. And if you haven't watched the niche video, I definitely recommend doing that. I'm going to press copy. Now I'm going to head back to Claude and I'm literally going to paste it. Now it will usually do something like that because it's quite long. So I'll remove and I'll just put attached script. And this will begin and you'll see the carousel in action. So this is just a general chat on Claude and I'm using this form. So let's see, and I'll meet you in a moment when this is done. Okay, so it's done and here is our carousel. So you can see it's created. I literally put that singular prompt and it's created the carousel for me. So it's done, I put a big script in and it's been able to pick like the individual words, etc. And this is the thing about Claude, is compared to like, for example, Nano Banana, etc., where it's a visual generator, it can't really understand the concept of the carousel, the purpose of it, okay? Whereas Claude is different. It builds it. It understands why we're creating the carousels. So it's done a hook at the beginning, pick a niche is making you invisible. So let's actually look through the slides. Now, of course, you know, this is level 1, so it's not exactly what I want, but considering I've literally given it no information, it's done a pretty good job. And I've literally just given it a single prompt. Literally, you can see right there. And I've been able to get all of this. So imagine as we build up how this is going to improve. So I'll meet you at the next one. Okay, so now it's level 2, and this is where the magic really starts. Now, the first thing is branding. Branding is huge. Now, I have here a full branding system document, which is for my brand for when I create anything using AI. And this gives me the unique system I need. So for example, I have my color theory or my color palette. So, you know, I've got these different colors. So anytime I use AI like Claude, it knows exactly what to reference and how to create it. And this allows consistency, which is super important, you know, on social media. And you can see now with branding, there's multiple different elements from colorway to, you know, text, you know, the way you want your text to read, you know, the creativity levels. This can be super complex. And if you want me to make a video about branding, you know, deep dive into building branding for AI and branding in general, please let me know, because that would have to be a, you know, kind of full video. But this is my brand system right here. I will share this with you all. If you want to build a basic kind of brand system right here, this is kind of prompt you'd want to use. So, you know, what's your name, brand name? What do you do in one sentence? You know, who's your audience? You know, different colorways, hex codes, which is what Claude will reference when creating the carousels, some typography, voice, etc. But we can go much deeper than this, but I will share this particular one right here to get you started again in my vault. But we need something like this because branding is where things start to take place and get to the next level. And now the next thing that's going to make this all way more magical is custom visuals. And this changes everything because as you saw in, you know, the first one, these are kind of very generic. And as more people watch this particular video and understand the capabilities of Claude, oh, Claude can make carousels, you know, let me make carousels. You're going to see a lot of these kind of text-based ones, which are super simple. And, you know, everyone is going to know basically that it's AI. And for us to take this to another level, we need to start adding our own visual identity on top of the branding. Okay, so this is where we take this to another level through storytelling. So you can see, you know, it's going to be a lot of text, colored backgrounds, same Canva templates, etc. But through images, we can improve that storytelling, add more life to our carousels. You have Nano Banana 2 and Nano Banana Pro, which I will explain. I am going to be using Nano Banana Pro. Now, I've just been playing around with some as well, and you can see we can create some really cool images, which are going to be the backgrounds of our carousels, which Claude will be able to use. Let me show you how to use Claude to help you create this. Now, essentially the first thing for your background images is we need this JSON prompt right here. So you can screenshot this, or I will again have it available for you. But this is basically telling Claude or your prompt generator how to create the prompts for you. And you're going to see how this is all going to come to life. So once I've got my JSON prompt, I'll put it into a chat. And essentially what you want to do is tell the chat something like that will work. And you can even actually create your own project for this. So you can see right here, I've got a JSON prompt project, which I just created, which is super easy. And it can all come from this. So you can even say, I want to create a JSON prompt project, you know, give me the project details, etc. And you simply go to project, create it, add the instructions right there. And I'll show you more stuff about project in a bit. If I press this one right here, which I created a bit earlier, you'll see that simply by me putting an image here, so I put this image here, it analyzes it and then gives me the full prompt. Then I'm able to go to Nano Banana Pro and it generates it without me referencing the actual image. But let's actually create something. So my video is about niche. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to Pinterest, which I think is one of the best places for kind of getting inspiration. I'm going to type in something like aesthetic pictures. Let's try something like this. So I will screenshot this literally like that. Go to my Claude project. So I will paste that in there and I will press that. So I'll wait a second and you will be able to do this anytime. So anytime you want a JSON prompt or a good prompt for Nano Banana to create something with AI or anything on Higgsfield, you know, any of the image generators, etc., you can have your Claude project ready to go. And you can see it's running right there. And I'll just wait a second. Then I will press copy and run it and you'll start to see the results. Now, what I recommend here is always doing it in 4:5. Of course, it depends, you know, if you're doing YouTube thumbnails, etc. You can do it in different formats. If you're doing story, it would be 9:16, but that would literally work. What I recommend doing is probably starting on 1K. And then once you have like the images you want, you could literally go here and go to image upscale and then upscale that to 4K right there. Now, if you were doing like pictures of you, so you're a real person, you want to like put yourself in different situations, which I'll show you, which I've done before, you know, you can use different tools here as well. But if you want something where it's more personal, it's super possible as well. Now, let's go back to Claude. Okay, so my prompt's ready. I'm going to copy that and literally go here and press paste. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to press 2 so that we can see a bunch of different ones. But you can see that the prompt is extensive and I don't need to paste the reference image. So this right here, and you can see it came out really good on those. Now you can turn this into a skill as well, which I was about to show you right here. So if, for example, this JSON prompting, etc., how do I turn this into a skill? So you literally, it will tell you, etc., let me download, etc., etc., boom, press copy to your skills, and it will put it in your skills so that you can then use it at any time. And you can see right here, again, the information for that. But the project approach is the best way to do this, as Claude has already explained here. And you can also add other skills to the same project. You know, this can all coexist together. So let me just go back to Nano Banana Pro, and you can see right here, my image. So reference image, which we got right here, boom. That was the reference image that I literally got from Pinterest. And you can see how good does that look? Come on. I deserve a like because of that, but that looks so good. And Claude is capable of doing this for you. Now, anytime I want a image, like for example, let's say I was doing motivational, I need to put no text because I don't want text for this particular one. So let's see. Pause, go back to my project, drag that in there. Boom. And you can see again, it will give me the prompt and then I can simply go here and do that. Now a quick breakdown. Nano Banana Pro is built on Gemini 3 Pro, which is the best for quality. Nano Banana 2 is built on Gemini 3.1 Flash, 2 to 3 times faster, half the cost, nearly the same quality. So for carousel assets, Nano Banana 2 usually is enough. You can see here with Higgsfield, it's such a good workflow that I don't need to like go to different browsers, different tools if I want to switch over. So for example, if I wasn't getting the image I wanted in Nano Banana Pro, like it just wasn't coming out good, I could switch to Nano Banana 2 and test that. Let me just test that right now. But you know, I could just press that, boom. I could literally switch between different ones at will, and it's all part of my assets. And I can just literally press download and I'm good to go. So let me go back to this one just to see quickly. Boom. While I'm here, I'm going to paste that, copy, generate. And what you want to do is build something like this. So this is like my assets. You know, in a session, you could get a ton of different pictures, which are B-roll pictures or kind of assets, which then you want to put in a Google Drive folder. And I'll show you some stuff at level 3. But essentially, then you can use these images, you know, anytime you want. You know, if there's a particular kind of part of your carousel, which is, you know, a bit deeper, how to pick a niche, maybe, you know, this at the beginning or something like that, you have this image. And the beauty of this is that Claude is capable of understanding the kind of feeling I get from this particular image, and it matches that to my carousel. So you want to build a ton of assets here, just download them, put them into a Google Drive, which I have like here, like this. You know, you can even do it with like yourself, etc. If you want me to make a video about, you know, creating pictures of yourself, etc. Again, let me know. You can create some really cool stuff, you know, and Claude is capable of understanding that. So let me just go back to this and let's see what it will create. Perfect. So you can see from that single, literally from that image of the video, I've been able to generate this image. Again, perfect, super clean. You know, it's exactly what I want. It didn't need to put a reference image in. It was capable of doing that. And that's because of the JSON prompt. But now I have this JSON prompt folder, boom, anytime, new project. And it's always here. Don't need to complicate things. But now what you want to do, so for level 2, let's actually put this together. So the brand system, I've put it here. So I'd go to new project, create the project. Then once you get to this page right here, you would just literally put your file right here. So I've got my brand system document right here, and it'll be here. And you can put more and more into here. For the instructions, I won't put anything right now, but essentially this is basically the same kind of prompt that I put in the first one in level 1, and you saw that. And I'm going to literally just copy and put the script again. The difference is that I have put this, literally this. So now I'm going to paste this. You can see here immediately, I've read both the brand system and the script in full. Here's my slide plan based on the 7 strongest standalone ideas from the script. And you can see it's done a really good job, you know, with the hook, etc. Pick a niche, context, you know, I'm not surprised it's done that because that's the point of that particular video. And it's, you know, incorporated my brand system. So here are the slides, 7 slides, includes the CTA. So does this plan look right before I build the PNGs? And something that's really important here for level 2 and 3 is what I'm showing you. So just with 2 prompts, these are the examples I'm showing you. Of course, you can build like massive complex systems where there's layers, you can go back and forth and improve them more, but just in a matter of 2 prompts, you can see, boom, all I said is build them now. I don't need them for PNGs right now until I'm happy with them. And so if I press this, it will take me to this one right here. Slide 1 hook. Okay, so you can see it already is a big difference from level 1 because it's kind of taken my, brand system, etc. But let's see what it's done with just simple, literally 2 prompts. So it's gone back and forth, changed from dark to light, which is really nice. I like that for attention. Last one for tension, looks clean. And at the end, we have the CTA. And it's interesting how it changed the color for this tension one. And then for the payoff, it looks pretty good. And then CTA, build your identity stack, which is what I gave in that video. Now let's head over to level 3 so that I can show you the next evolution. Same content, completely different output, because Claude isn't just guessing anymore, it's executing through a system. And this is why branding matters so much. Your AI is only as good as the system you give it. Again, if you want me to build a full video about branding with AI, please let me know in the comments. But I will share a brand skill template to get you started in my vault. The link will be in the description. Okay, so now we're on the final level. Same script, same brand system, but now I'm going to add my Nano banana images. Claude is going to take my content, my brand, my custom visuals, and build this finished carousel ready for me to post. Okay, so for level 3, we're going to take it up a level and we're going to incorporate the images we created with Nano Banana. But the reason we do this is to have a bit more narrative energy, to have a bit more of the storytelling, which I showed you, rather than kind of having just decoration. We want to have a bit more life. And this will allow us to, as I said, we'll see a lot of these style of content coming soon. A lot of people just building these systems where it's like boom, 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 carousel, carousel, and they look very similar. Now, of course, you can still do this like this, but it's better to have a bit more uniqueness and a bit more strategy. So matching your visual energy to narrative energy. This is where I want to see where Claude, goes with this. So the reason why this wins, nobody else has your images, brand recognition compounds. This is huge. Content visuals work well together. Okay, so this is really important to remember. So let's over to level 3 right here. So what I've done for this is simple. I'm again in the carousel project you saw from level 2. And what I've done is I've uploaded all the images I created. Okay, so these are all the images, that we've created. You saw me create quite a few of these on Nano Banana. And I've added like 2 of my own and this one here, etc. And you can see here, all I've done is virtually a very similar prompt. So I've put, first of all, that I've uploaded the brand system, 11 custom images generated with Nano Banana Pro. I needed to read the full system and then essentially following the same framework. I didn't want to go too off with these prompts so that each level is very similar, so you can see the difference as I build. And of course, the prompting can be better. I always say that, but look at all the images I uploaded. For each, pick the image that best matches based on mood, visual energy, and space for text overlay. High energy images for hook tension, calm images for etc, etc. So I've given it some context. This is where Claude does its magic and where it separates itself majorly from image generators. And you can see right here, I've read the full brand system and the script. Here is my analysis of the 11 images and the side plan. So I've given it the 11 images. So it's categorized each 11 image that I've done, given it a mood and a best fit in relation to the carousels. Okay, and you can see that it does that. So now it has this particular knowledge. It's able to use these images at will to match my carousel. So this is extremely useful because what you can do is, if I go here, connectors, you can see here I can add Google Drive. You can add multiple things like Canva, Miro, etc. And I can add Google Drive. So you can actually build a system where this automatically goes to your Google Drive, picks, your content, looks through your images, and boom, it makes the carousels like that. So there's a lot you can do with this, and this is huge. Now, you can see here, it's gone again, slide plan, gone through, pick a niche, why image 11? So one person standing still while the crowd blurs out. A direct visual metaphor for becoming invisible by following the same advice, which is essentially the principle of my niche video. High energy, amber light, strong negative space, upper left for headline. So it's giving me context for each one, why it will use that image, and there. So rhythm check, dark light, light. Boom, boom, boom. I'm really happy with that. This looks good to me, approved. Now build all 7 slides as a single HTML file, each slide by this is the kind of right format for Instagram. The reason I ask it to build a HTML file for this is so that I can show you it visually in kind of what simple workflow, but I'll show you in a sec how it looks as well on a PNG. So you can see right here, it's giving me kind of what it's done. And all of this has come from 2 prompts. Again, 1, 2 prompts, and boom, I have this. And this is what it looks like. So slide 1 is, so that particular image you saw me upload right here. So pick this one, and remember it gave a reason. So content strategy, pick a niche, made you invisible. So identify this image and put this text here. Now what's really smart about this is it actually has chosen to put the text here below the central point of this image. Because if it put it here, it would have covered the concept of this image, the reason why this image is good, because the man is here by himself in a kind of blurred, environment. So I respect this particular choice here. Now, optimally, I wouldn't say it's the best positioning. Potentially here would have been better, and potentially pick a niche, then text here. And I could go back and forth and improve this, of course, but for initial decision making from Claude, this is great. And then the next thing it also did with this, you can see that it has this is the original kind of color. It has added my kind of filter to it, which is a kind of green vintage filter. Now, if I go to slide 2, okay, so it's kept kind of the principal, kind of that shock light element. Looks clean, though, I must say. Slide 3, build. Okay, so the algorithm has changed. Platforms, train platform. Okay, I don't know if this was intentional or not from me. They match content to people. Your niche label means nothing to the feed. Wow, okay. So this is a very strong image. I mean, again, it's taken this image, added a filter to it on top of that as well. And it just looks epic. I mean, it's the best image for this particular image, I guess. Boom, your audience has AI too. Really clean, really clean. Okay, slide 5, tension. Your niche is not your identity, it's one layer of 5. I mean, that to me looks so aesthetically kind of pleasing, really good. The only thing so far is like this one, I would definitely improve it a bit for kind of bigger text. I mean, but these look clean considering it's 2 prompts again. And I like that it's picked this one as well, because this is like the tension, kind of the climax or near the climax. And it kind of builds, this image really builds into that. So I like that. Okay, this is super high contrast as well, that choice. So I gave it a image of a crow on a line. Yeah, I mean, this one, it could have done it slightly different, maybe full screen on the crow and just put text on top. But this also potentially does work. Maybe put the text slightly higher. And you could easily go back and forth with Claude on this. But the point is, in a very kind of minute 2 prompts, I've already been able to get all of these. So stop asking your niche, start asking your layers. Boom, slide 7, straight to the point, CTA. And that's Claude for you. Claude is going to revolutionize the way content creation is created. One thing I want to really emphasize is when I make these videos, it's not about AI is killing the world, AI slop. No, to build these prompts, it's taken me hours and hours to build this particular script. I've come up with a framework to create my scripts and to create my slides. These are all intentional. If you're just, copying and pasting and creating AI slop, then I'm not really interested in that. But if you're using this to make your life easier as a content creator, because creating content is not easy, and this makes your life easier, you're able to deliver content on a more consistent basis, then doing things like this is, I think, super, super important, and the reason AI exists. And you can build systems where this is super, super efficient and virtually automated. Now here, I have an example of a different one. So if I was to get them as PNGs, I can literally get it like this. So slide 1, boom, I would download. Slide 2, and you can see this one has come slightly different prompting and stuff, but you can see these come out really good. Images of me, boom, download, CTA, download. So Claude won't just do one style. It really depends on how you prompt it and stuff, but this is essentially how good it can be. Now, if you want me to make a video which goes deeper into branding or deeper into carousels and how to create them in terms of like the strategy behind them in particular, let me know. If you want me to go deeper into Claude, again, let me know. I could do videos about even turning this into more Claude code, automating this process and stuff like this. I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. It's currently 6 a.m. to really just emphasize how good this kind of mechanism and how good Claude is and why I'm using it above all kind of ChatGPT and all the other ones. And in a simple workflow, you can create carousels like this, which can really improve your consistency and everything online. And remember, the more information you give, the more unique you will be. Now for this video, I've been using Higgsfield, and they always have the latest AI tools, which is perfect for my workflows. The link is in the description. This video is sponsored by Higgsfield. Okay, so here are some quick tips before I go. You want to batch your Nano Banana images, okay? This is always super important, and you saw how I've done it. So you want to make at least 20 to 30 in one session, and this will allow you to actually build that for a few weeks. But over time, if you do 20 every week, for example, for a few weeks, you'll end up with 60, 80, 100, which then you can start reusing. The next thing is save your brand system as a Claude skill, yeah? This needs to be ready every time. Always use 1080 by 1350. This is important because it gives you more screen space. So the recommended amount is 7 to 10 slides. Usually this gets around 23% more engagement than shorter carousels. And then it's also worth adding music to your carousels. It pushes them to the Reels algorithm. So this is just free extra reach. As I said, this is episode 1 in a new series where I explore more AI tools and the systemized process behind them so that you can make your life easier through content creation and social media marketing. Social media marketing is not easy, although many people think it is. And for me, after 10 years, I've realized building system, building practices, using the tools that are available just to make my life easier is going to allow me to be consistent and be in this for the long game. Because when you're creating social media content, you're doing it for the long game. You're building a business. A business in a coffee shop doesn't just sell coffees for one day. So when it comes to AI tools, don't be against them, but don't be relying on them to do everything. With the right input, so much can change. If you're interested in AI, content marketing, social media marketing, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to check out Higgsfield and my vault. The link will be in the description. I recommend watching these 2 videos right here. I will see you next time.